For nearly 2 centuries, the world was gripped by a series of holy wars that reshaped continents, empires, and religions. Kings became warriors, monks became generals, and cities became battlegrounds. Welcome to The Entire History of the Crusades, every one of them explained. Whether you're a student, a history nerd, or just curious why knights were sailing across seas in chainmail to fight in deserts, you're in the right place. This is the story of faith, politics, betrayal, and a whole lot of bloodshed. Let's rewind to the late 11th century. Europe was fractured, kingdoms fought each other constantly, and the Catholic Church held enormous influence. Meanwhile, the Islamic world was booming. Sophisticated cities, powerful empires, and, most importantly, they controlled Jerusalem. To Christians, Jerusalem was sacred, the site of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. But for Muslims, it was also deeply holy, the place where Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven. Tensions simmered. Then came the Seljuk Turks, who took over much of the Eastern Islamic world, including Jerusalem, and began pushing into Byzantine territory. The Byzantine emperor, desperate for help, turned to an unlikely ally, the Pope. In 1095, Pope Urban II made a speech that shook the world. Pope Urban liked voiceover effect. God wills it. That became the rallying cry of the First Crusade. Tens of thousands of European knights, peasants, and adventurers took the cross, quite literally. They sewed crosses onto their tunics and marched east. Fun fact, some went for faith, others for fame, riches, or just to escape boring feudal life. What followed was part pilgrimage, part bloodbath. The journey was brutal. Many died before reaching the Holy Land. But by 1099, the Crusaders reached Jerusalem. What happened next was horrific. They stormed the city and massacred thousands of Muslims and Jews. They carved out Crusader States like the Kingdom of Jerusalem, ruled by European nobles in the heart of the Islamic world. But peace didn't last long. The Muslims regrouped. In 1144, the city of Edessa, one of the Crusader states, fell to Muslim forces. Europe freaked out. Enter the Second Crusade, led by European royalty like King Louis VII of France and Emperor Conrad III. Sounds impressive, right? It was a disaster. Poor planning, disunity, and ambushes in Anatolia meant that most of their armies never even reached Jerusalem. The only major win, they attacked Lisbon and pushed Muslims out of part of Portugal, which wasn't even the original goal. Then came the Muslim hero who still echoes through history, Saladin. Charismatic, brilliant, and deeply respected, even by his enemies, Saladin united Muslim forces, and in 1187, at the Battle of Hattin, he crushed the Crusader army and retook Jerusalem. Cue panic in Europe. The Third Crusade was a blockbuster. 3 kings, Richard the Lionheart of England, Philip II of France, Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire, who tragically drowned on the way. Richard and Saladin played a deadly chess game. Battles, truces, negotiations. In the end, Richard failed to retake Jerusalem but earned Saladin's respect. They signed a treaty allowing Christian pilgrims to visit. It was like a draw, dramatic, but no real winner. Now things get weird. The Fourth Crusade never even made it to the Holy Land. The Crusaders ran out of money and made a deal with Venice, a powerful merchant republic, to attack Zara, a Christian city, in exchange for ships. Then they got roped into a political mess in Constantinople. The result? They sacked the Byzantine capital, fellow Christians, in 1204. Churches were looted, relics stolen, people massacred. It was one of the most shameful moments in Crusader history. Jerusalem? They never even tried. Yes, there were more Crusades, and most people don't know about them. Children's Crusade, 1212. Thousands of kids, inspired by faith, tried to peacefully convert Muslims, but most were sold into slavery or died along the way. Fifth Crusade, 1217 to 1221, targeted Egypt, failed. Sixth Crusade, 1228 to 1229, led by Frederick II. He negotiated Jerusalem back without fighting. Weirdly successful. Seventh and Eighth Crusades, 1248 to 1270, led by Louis IX of France. Both failed. Louis died during the Eighth. By the late 1200s, Muslims, especially the Mamluks of Egypt, had crushed all remaining Crusader states. By 1291, the last Crusader city, Acre, fell. It was over. So, what did it all mean? For Europeans, the Crusades opened up trade, exposed them to new ideas, and planted the seeds for the Renaissance. They brought back spices, texts, medicine, and, yes, some ancient Greek and Islamic science. For the Islamic world, the Crusades were a brutal invasion, a reminder of Western aggression. The memory still resonates today in some parts of the world. For Jews, it was a time of persecution. Crusaders often massacred Jewish communities in Europe on their way to the Holy Land. The Crusades also changed warfare, from siege tactics to military orders like the Knights Templar and Hospitallers, who became warrior monks. From holy wars to political power plays, the Crusades were far more complex than just Christians versus Muslims. They were shaped by faith, ambition, greed, and survival, and they remind us that history is rarely black and white. The Crusades were both glorious and terrible, depending on who you ask. If you enjoyed this deep dive into medieval history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which crusade surprised you the most. And remember, history isn't just about the past. It's the story we choose to tell about ourselves.